Hey, Weatherman Ray here, or Wixman Ray, whatever you prefer to call me. My channel says Wixman Ray, so you can call me that. I just say Weatherman Ray so people will understand what Wix means, in case people don't know what that means. All right, so enough of that. So hey, we got a pretty active day across the Midwest and the plains here. Um, Out here in Kansas City area, we had a pretty rough and tumble day. Had some pretty torrential rains and had some straight line wind damage out in parts of the Kansas, just south of the Kansas City area, and then kind of the southern metro. There was a couple tornado reports, and even the south side of Kansas City itself had some wind damage out there. So, houses had some roof damage and tree damage and all that kind of fun stuff. So there's been some tornado reports across the area, and elsewhere, also up to the north of us, pretty active. Um, so we'll start out west first. We got another approaching system, just kind of spilling over some clouds right now. This is just some clouds, mostly high clouds across the west. No precipitation with that, so don't get too excited yet out there if you like the rain in Seattle, but it is coming again eventually. And then we got some showers back here across Montana. Um, Mostly in Montana and Wyoming, maybe clipping a little bit of Idaho still, and uh, and then we got this band of clouds, and this is associated with this big frontal system. This whole system out here. This is some lingering snow and rain back through this area, and some clouds kind of on the backside of this cold front. So we got a cold front kind of running across from Wisconsin down through about near Illinois, Iowa area, near the border, and going through Missouri and down through parts of southeast Kansas or eastern Kansas and down into Oklahoma. And all this bright red, orange, yellow, all these are really cold cloud tops because we're on the infrared. This is thunderstorms going on. So pretty active day with thunderstorms like I've been kind of talking about for a good part of the week. This will be our last hurrah. Not today, but this system is the last hurrah of thunderstorms, at least significant thunderstorms, for the you know foreseeable future, at least through early next week, anyways. But spring's not over, so we'll see more of this eventually. You can count on it. So yeah, so lots of showers and thunderstorms, mostly thunderstorms, some severe through here. We've had tornado, wind damage, and hail reports all through these areas. And then back to the south, this is mostly just some high level cloud. We got a little bit of a subtropical jet running across Texas and Louisiana, so that's why you're seeing these clouds, and these are just high clouds up near where the airplanes fly. Really quiet. The East Coast is cleared out, even so. The entire eastern third of the U.S. has been pretty nice today, with warm weather out ahead of this cold front. But that'll change. It'll cool off, especially for the northern half of the country, as we go in for the next couple days, and nice across the southeast. So kind of a rain-free day out here and nicer weather. All right, so enough with the satellite. So we'll go to our thing. We'll start out west here. So it's just so you know, it's officially 5:52 p.m. on the West Coast, 6:52 in Mountain Time, 7:52 Central Time, and 8:52 on the East Coast. That's what my clock says down here, anyways, on the computer. So got some 50s out here with a little bit of clouds. Those are mostly, so if I click on that, yeah, you got mostly higher level clouds out there, but enough to, obscure the sun to some degree. So you got some 50s and then some 60s inland. It looks like Medford's at 67. Across Nevada, 650s mostly. Ely's, they're up at 6,000 feet. They're at 48, so they're the cold spot. But, Ely sits at 6,000 feet. So it's 68 in Vegas, so it did cool down there. So they're good, almost 20 degrees colder than yesterday. So little nippy for Vegas people. If you're visiting there and you're used to the cold, then it's a beautiful day. I mean, there's a little bit of a wind from the north, so probably not the best day in Vegas, but hey, I like 60s. It's probably a beautiful day for me. 70s through Central California valleys, 60s along the coast. A little bit of wind coming off the good 15, 20-mile-an-hour winds coming off the ocean at San Francisco and LA. So, but fairly nice in the 60s, 80s down in Phoenix. So it didn't, might have cooled them off a few degrees out here in the desert, but not too significantly. It did cool down in New Mexico. We got some 63 in Albuquerque, so cooler than yesterday, and 80 degrees in El Paso. A little bit of winds. They're gusting up around 30 to 40 miles an hour in parts of New Mexico. Yeah, we're getting some winds out here across West Texas, up to 40 miles an hour. Nothing high wind worthy. I think they're not quite as strong as what I was thinking they were going to be, but hey, they're still gusty. So down across the south, we've got warm weather, 80s, storm free across Texas. So the storms kind of stayed north into Oklahoma, at least so far. Maybe that'll change. Maybe later on tonight or tomorrow. Maybe they'll slip into parts of Texas. We'll see what the forecast brings. But looks like some 80s this evening across the south and even into Florida, near 80 anyways, upper 70s. So they're starting to cool off. It's almost 9 o'clock out there now. Very nice, like I said, across the 70s and 80s. DC's at 68, so really nice out there. They'll, it's up in the 60s, near 70s up here. So some 60s and 70s in Pennsylvania, a little cooler up in New York, 50s and 60s. Around New York City, it's close to 60 degrees. Inland, it's actually, yeah, in the 60s. So not too bad of a night in New York City. There are a few looks like there's a couple showers lingering. Just some rogue showers. So I guess that leftovers from that last system decided to show its face out there, but nothing too bad. Some couple places are getting some rain out there in New Jersey, and looks like there was stuff near Long Island earlier. You can see that, but it's going to bed, it looks like. And then a little cool up across the Northeast up here, 40s and 50s in Maine. That's been your cool spot. Well, not now. It's actually colder out behind this cold front. So now we'll talk about the real weather here, the real crazy stuff. So we got some showers and thunderstorms up here. Nothing too crazy up into northern Wisconsin. And then there's some stuff back behind the front. You can see these temperatures are already in the 40s back in Iowa, behind the front, 52 in Omaha. But look along this line, man. We get some tornado warnings up there just north of the Chicago area near Milwaukee, or just south of Milwaukee. Even, man, across Illinois, we got a couple tornado warnings, lots of severe thunderstorm warnings. It almost lines up all the way down through Illinois. A couple more tornado warnings. So it's been pretty active out there. Lots of wind damage reports. So this has been a very active system. And then back into Missouri, we're still seeing a couple tornado warnings out here. Near looks like Columbia is under one, and just southeast of there, or southwest of there, I should say, out in the area out there. So, and then we got storms going all the way through southeast Kansas, through Chanute, Kansas, and down here across southeast Kansas. And then we got a tornado warning north of Tulsa up there near, looks like that covers Bartlesville. So there's a pretty strong storm and more severe storms across northern Oklahoma. So, yeah, looks like some gusty winds ahead of this front. Looks like close to 40 miles an hour. Behind the front, you're getting pretty gusty, 40, almost 50 miles an hour on some areas. It's already in the 50s back here, even some 40s already showing up. And as you get farther back, we got some 30s out here. In fact, eastern Colorado saw some snow today out there around Denver area. This is what's left of it. There might be a little bit of light snow still going through that area. Temperatures are in the 30s, upper mid to upper 30s. So hopefully, probably, maybe they had some accumulation today. I haven't really heard. A little bit of rain back here, real light stuff. Looks like it's diminishing. And then here's those showers I was telling you about. A lot of them are probably snow showers out here. The temperatures are in the 30s. So yeah, and quite a bit cooler. So this is the coldest part of the country. We got some 30s up here, even some upper 20s in parts of North Dakota already, and even up north near the, you know, what is this place called? Roseau, Minnesota, up near International Falls. So this whole area they've got, and there's got a little bit of light snow kind of up in this area. Nothing too big to be too concerned about. But there is some snow and it's cold up there, so winter's still kind of hanging on tough up there. Got some cold air, even back into Wyoming and Montana. There's some 30s going on, so yeah. So that's what you get to look forward to back across the Northeast and the Great Lakes here pretty quickly over the next 24 to 36 hours as this front moves your way. So here's the forecast. So this is for, we'll just go for the rest of tonight. So we'll see showers and thunderstorms ongoing for the rest of the evening. From, they'll start rolling in towards Michigan and Indiana, moving out of Wisconsin and Illinois and across Missouri and, into Oklahoma and point south. As you go overnight, it looks like it'll go down. It looks like they're predicting it kind of starting to roll into parts of Texas. We'll see if that emerges. Moving into Arkansas, even parts of eastern Tennessee and Kentucky by late tonight or in the early morning hours. And then it looks like one more possibility of severe for out here about across Ohio, Pennsylvania, and parts of these areas. I'll show you that. And the front kind of is across New York and through the Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and down through Tennessee and Kentucky, and then kind of dips down into northern Mississippi, northern Louisiana, and East Texas. So that we'll still see ongoing thunderstorms across there on Saturday. Some could be severe still. And as we progress into Sunday morning, there'll probably be some showers and thunderstorms lingering, but they'll be kind of on the way out of here and kind of dying out. There'll probably be some lingering stuff out here along the Gulf Coast, maybe South Texas, and a little bit out here in the morning on Sunday. Probably nothing too severe by then. The cold air starts to filter in the back, so we'll see some rain and snow linger through the day in the Northeast. But the thunderstorms will be pretty much gone. There still could be a few along the Gulf Coast and maybe South Texas on Sunday, midday to afternoon. But that front moves well out to sea. There could be some thunderstorms, near across Florida on late Sunday and even Monday. And then we see another little disturbance moving across Texas. Looks like some showers, maybe even some thunder back there in parts of Texas. Even a little part of New Mexico might get on the action as we go into Monday and Tuesday. But that'll kind of be the story down there through Tuesday. This system out here, out west, will come on shore late Monday. It looks like now across California and Oregon, and then kind of spread across a good portion of the West, even up into Washington as we go into later on the day on Tuesday, and that'll spread into Nevada. So that's your next western storm. Not quite as cold with this one, but it will bring in slightly cooler temperatures. So it looks like it'll get wet again as we go into the early to mid next week across the West. Elsewhere, Looks like we see a little front dipping down by Tuesday, so this could fire up some showers and thunderstorms along here. Don't really expect much with it, but something to keep an eye on. Just a weak system kind of dropping straight down out of Canada. Um, and then we'll continue to see that activity. Looks like it'll kind of die. There'll still be some thunderstorms and stuff on Wednesday. So still, some thunder across Texas and maybe spreading across Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe Arkansas by middle of the week. But we'll kind of see how that evolves. The I wanted to show you a couple other things before I wind this video down. So this is the convective outlook for tomorrow. Tonight, it's just going to be, there's going to be severe. I'll show you it, but what's going on. There's a little risk down in Texas, it looks like tomorrow. Just a marginal risk. So there could be a couple isolated severe storms. Up here, like I said, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, down into parts of Kentucky and Tennessee, maybe a little bit of Virginia will get in on the action, maybe even parts of Maryland, the tip there, and up into New York, western New York may get in on some action. The tornado threat, there's a little bit of a threat up there, but kind of a low threat, but you can't rule it out up there, so keep an eye on that tomorrow if you live up in those parts of the country. And then a wind and a pretty good wind health threat will be kind of low, but you can't rule that out either. So there'll be severe thunderstorms going for one more day, and then it looks like it kind of quiets down after that. Here's the outlook for this is for Sunday. So yeah, there might be, like I said, across Florida, maybe a little bit across the Carolina coastal, Georgia coastal areas on Sunday. That'll probably be more early in the day, you know, early morning, through the morning, and maybe through about midday. By the afternoon, I think that front's going to be out to sea, so probably threat will be winding down. And then yeah, so that's that. Oh, I did want to show you the storm report so far today. So yeah, can we zoom? There we go. Well, I can't. I'm not going to spend the time to try to zoom this up. But so the green is there's a lot of hail reports across Kansas, Oklahoma, a little bit in Missouri, some in Iowa, and up into Wisconsin and Minnesota. The wind reports are blue, and the so we got a lot of wind reports. You can see that that's where the Kansas City area is. We had a lot of wind out into eastern Kansas, parts of Missouri. So all through this area, and then all these red dots. We've had quite a few tornadoes reported up here in Minnesota, Wisconsin, up into northern Illinois. And then there was that one there near the southern part of Kansas City area. One up to the north too. That was in Atchison, Kansas. That's kind of just to the west of where I live. So, yeah, they had some tornado video of it. And then another tornado up there in northeast Missouri. So, yeah, and there's probably more to come because you saw what I saw. There's a lot of warnings still out, and it's still pretty active. So, that'll probably be going through the overnight hours. So, if you live out there, be careful and listen to your local warnings, and stay prepared and take shelter if you need to. All right, I'm going to just show you the temperatures and we'll finish this forecast on up. So this is our max temps. It says Friday, but this is a day off. This weather service site is kind of weird, but anyways, because today's high out here in Kansas City and it says Friday. Today's high was in the 80s, so that's for tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to be, so we're going to see some 30s and 40s all across the northern plains and parts of Midwest and the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes. And you can see kind of where that front will be tomorrow. Even in the morning, it'll be pretty warm out here. So, and then a lot of 50s and 60s across Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, and way down into Oklahoma. Look at that, even 65 down in Dallas, Fort Worth. A little chilly for them guys. A little bit of cool air in parts of the Rockies. It's starting to rebound out here in Nevada and along the west coast and into uh, Arizona. So we're starting to jump up another 10 degrees or so. So the warm, so it's a nice day out in these areas for your Saturday. Here's all the warm air ahead of the front. 80s and 90s even, so a couple 90s in there. Out here, this will be probably early in the day, especially these areas out here where you're going to see this, and then your temperatures will probably drop into the 50s pretty quickly as that front comes through, because this is a pretty strong cold front. So this is Saturday. Okay, just keep that in mind. So this is going into Sunday. This is a just don't pay attention to that. So this is Sunday, so it's going to be chilly across the northern northeastern part of the U.S. into the Great Lakes and still in the northern plains. So 30s and 40s, you got 50s and 60s behind it. It starts to rebound out here across the plains pretty quickly, and still warm across the south and the southeast. Even down in Dallas, it's going to rebound another almost 10 degrees, so it's going to be back. Real nice day on Sunday out in this area. I mean, in the 70s, you can't beat that. And then most of the west, the mountainous areas will be a little chilly, but I mean, you're seeing it 60s and 70s in most of the valleys until you get down here and it's hotter in the deserts. But you know, down in Phoenix and Vegas and that. So yeah, a nice Sunday for most. Just a little chilly up here as we go into Monday. Disregard that again. Still kind of staying cool across the Northeast and Great Lakes. Still got some 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s a little farther south. The plains really start rebounding. We're seeing 70s and 80s by Monday by the start of your work week. Nice across the south and the southeast, mostly 70s. You can see these cooler temperatures in Texas. That's due to that clouds and rain and thunderstorms, so they're going to be a little cooler where it rains. And then it's still pretty nice. It gets pretty warm across the 70s, a few 80s popping up, even, up into Idaho there. 78 in northern Nevada and Elko, 79 in Salt Lake City. So it's going to be a nice day, and this is on Monday. And you can see that cooler air starting to coming into Northern California here. So that's a sign of things to come for the West as we go into our Tuesday. So it starts cooling down a little bit out here. At least this, Western Nevada and, out into California and parts of Oregon. Really warming up out here. We still have some cool air hanging on across the northern Great Lakes and parts of the Northeast, but the most of the U.S. will be warming up to nice spring weather. Some of them getting quite warm into the 80s again. So that's for your Tuesday, and then we'll go through Wednesday and call it good. So Wednesday, yeah, here we go. We're almost getting to be close to summer like out here. It's a lot of 80s, some 90s popping up here and there. Still a little bit cool out here, but it's starting to warm up. I mean, you're getting close to 60 in Western New York, so not too bad for get going into the third week of April here. And then you can see that really cools off into the 50s across Nevada, at least northern Nevada. Vegas will be down to 76. So a cool down across the west as we go into this is Wednesday by midweek. So yeah, that's what you guys get to look forward to. That's all I've got. Like I said, stay safe. If you're in the path of any of these severe storms tonight or even tomorrow, if you're farther east, just be safe out there and listen to your local weather warnings. I appreciate you all. This is Wixman Ray out.